Hi, I'm Eric Siegel with ericstrains.com, and today I'm going to be taking a few minutes to show you the new Lionel Vision Line Canadian Pacific Hybrid. This is the second ES44 hybrid that Lionel has released under their Vision line. The first one was the GE demonstrator unit that was released a while back. Now, because this engine is exactly the same as the GE demonstrator except for the paint scheme, I'm not going to spend time going through all the details of this engine when I've already done a full review of the GE demonstrator model. So if you haven't seen my review of the GE demonstrator, click on the link that's popping up on the screen right now and you can watch that review and see all the cool features this engine has. Now, what I will do in this video is start this engine up and let you hear some of the sounds and features, and then after that I'm going to show you a side of these engines that you probably haven't seen before and that you probably won't see in any other review, and that's because I'm in the unique position of owning two of these engines. Now, as you may or may not know, depending on whether or not you read my blog, the first one of these that I bought, about 4 days after I bought it, it was sitting on a shelf and the shelf collapsed and the engine fell to the floor and was very badly damaged and is not in operating condition, and it's sitting in pieces on my workbench now, so I had to get one to replace it. But I'm going to take advantage of that in this video, and I'm going to show you what the insides of these engines look like so you can see what makes these wonderful engines tick. So let's go ahead and start this engine up.
9860, do you read me? Roger, 9860 here. Starter up and stand by. Okay, CP9860 will get up and running. Out.
Here's that great horn. Here's some of the crew dialogue.
9860, you may depart. Over. Okay, all clear. 9860 out. Dispatcher, 9860 here. I'm made up. Am I clear outbound? Over. Yes, 9860, you may depart. Over. Roger, I'm green. 9860 out.
Now, a lot of you have asked if it's possible to turn off these battery charge lights. It is possible. If you lift up the back here, the controls are back here, and one of the controls is to shut off those LED lights. Like that. That's all you have to do. And then they're back on just like that. I also want to show you a couple of the lighting and sound features that are on these engines. If you've already got a Legacy diesel and the Legacy remote, you probably already know about these features, but they're pretty cool, so I want to show them if you've never seen these before. One is the Rule 17 lighting feature, and what that does is when the engine comes to a stop, the headlight will dim. So watch what happens when the engine stops. Did you see the headlight dim? That's called the Rule 17 feature. One of the cool sound features on this engine is the labored engine sounds. On the Legacy remote, on the speed menu, you've got this EFX up and down, and what that does is it raises or lowers the labored engine sounds. And if you raise them up, I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but the engine gets this real bassy, throaty sound like it's really working hard. It's a really cool feature. And then finally, here's the shutdown sequence.
Going to sign the register book. 9860 out.
This is what the engine looks like when you take the shell off. Right here in the middle we've got all the legacy components. This is pretty typical for what you find in a legacy equipped diesel. This little board back here though, I believe this has something to do with running these LED battery charge lights. Don't quote me on that because I'm not an expert at legacy electronics, but it seems this board is connected to these little LED lights, so I think it has something to do with the chase effect on these battery charge lights. Right here and here we've got the flywheel equipped motors that drive the engine. On the front motor you've got the Lion drive board that regulates the speed of the engine. This is worth mentioning right here. If you remember from the GE demonstrator review that I did, I commented about these pilots and how they're separate from the trucks for more realism, but they also have some give to them so that you can negotiate tight turns on your layout. Well, the way they work is they've got this little spring bar right here, and that allows the pilot to move a little bit, but then it always returns to center like that. These are the LED battery charge lights that are on the engine, and the LEDs are back here on this little strip, and then they've got this green piece of plastic in front. The trucks on this engine come off just like most Lionel diesels these days. You turn the truck 90 degrees, and then it just pops right off. And these trucks are pretty typical for Lionel diesels nowadays. And to put the truck back on, all you do is just pop it in and turn it back 90 degrees. You may notice that there are no side frames on these trucks, and the reason is I took them off because they were pretty badly damaged when the engine fell off the shelf, and I've been working to restore them. You'll also notice that there's no coupler on the front of the engine here, and that's because that was also damaged when it fell off the shelf. This is what the inside of the shell looks like, and except for the fact that it's made completely out of die-cast metal, it's fairly typical for what you'd see in a diesel shell, but there are a couple interesting things. For one, the smoke unit is mounted to the roof of the shell and not to the chassis. I thought that was pretty interesting. There was a lighting board right here, and then right here the cab is completely self-contained. Because remember, the cab roof pops off, and you've got that nicely detailed cab interior. So for that reason, the cab is completely self-contained. Okay, that about wraps it up for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, if you want to see all of the features that are in these engines, go and watch the review I did of the GE demonstrator model. You can get to that video by clicking on the link that's popping up on the screen right now. I think these are truly the best 3-rail O-scale engines ever made. I'm Eric Siegel, and I'll see you next time.
Yes, 9860. The track is clear. Over. Thank you. 9860 out.